dun, dun, dun.
Welcome to the Exit Only Theater
Horns.
Fantasy Film Draft.
Woo!
Horns.
Woo!
I almost lost all concentration. It was like Inception.
Horns.
Okay.
Horns.
So this is our composer, Adrian. I'm JP Lee.
I'm Adrian, by the way.
There's only one other person in the room.
Continue.
Let me turn the AC off. If you heard any rumbling, actually that might have worked.
What?
That might have worked for the atmosphere.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Okay, so that's okay. It's fine.
No, sorry, I'm going to crazy with the horn. If I could make synthesizer noises, I would make synthesizer.
He's got to work on it. Seriously, people can make those noises.
Well,
You're just underachieving.
Those people aren't people.
All
right.
They're cyborgs. Get it together, man. Okay, so what we were brainstorming earlier today and decided that we had a whole episode just brewing in our heads and we didn't even know it. Again, reiterating, it's called the Fantasy Film Draft. So we picked 4 categories of things that we thought would be awesome to discuss. I'm just going to jump in. I'm not even going to preview. We're going to just jump into the first category. You guys are going to feel out what this is, and you're going to love it. So,
what's the first question?
The first question... And this is a lovely hypothetical. What actress would you like to see in something that is against type?
Dude.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
All right. I would, actress-wise, right?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. For me. All right. Prepare yourself.
I don't even know if I... Okay. Wait. Okay, go.
Technically, I consider Daniel Day-Lewis a woman. All right, no.
In my world...
Dude, there's a fly circling me.
No, it's like, literally an episode of Breaking Bad right now. No. It's the fly episode, which is the worst one.
But I will answer your question.
Okay, please do while I stare at the fly.
Feel free to do it as I raise my hand for no reason. Alright, the actress that I would like to see play against type, because I think she could literally play any type, is Jenna Malone.
Okay.
Jenna Malone's one of my favorite actresses. She's really young. If you guys aren't really familiar with her, she's not in anything big, but she plays a role in the Hunger Games franchise.
You've seen her in a few really important
She's the only reason I give a crap about the franchise, to be honest with you. But I really like her. She's really cool. She has been in Sucker Punch. She has been in Into the Wild. She's been in a lot of she was in Into the Wild. So she's really, really good. The role that I would like to see her in is kind of out there. I remember when I was discussing it with you off mic, you know, I was like, I don't think I've seen a role like this. I can't think of it, but I would imagine her in a Western taking place obviously in like the 1800s, where she's the leader of a group of girls, like perhaps like a mini whorehouse, for instance. Let's say that. And where she plays her age. I'm not gonna have her play older than she is.
She's 30. I thought she was super younger than that.
So I would have her play probably like around 30, where she leads these group of girls, where she doesn't necessarily want to be the leader, and is sure as hell isn't prepared to be the leader, because she, in her own right, is also one of the whores. So she's leading this whorehouse, and she's doing it in a way not with necessarily tough love, where she's kind of like. She's still a young girl. Yep. This is the thing. Like, she's still wanting to be a young girl where she's doing all this stuff. Kind of like, for many of you that watch Shameless on Showtime, kind of like Fiona's character. Where, like, Emmy Rossum's character. Where she's kind of like the head of this crazy household and whatnot. She wants to branch out and kind of be her own person, but since no one else is watching these, like, random group of ragtag people, she's just like, I have to take care of everybody. And I think it'd be an interesting role because it allows her to kind of be, and the reason I'm saying like in a whorehouse is because you have to be, I think it'd be interesting to have someone put on an act during when she's on the clock, let's say, and then off the clock she has to manage all these personalities where she has to be kind of the mature one, even though she's not ready to be one, and she doesn't want to be one. So it's like,
it's very complex.
How could she manage being this kind of actress during the daytime or during like her whoring sessions? Not to make it sound really vulgar or anything, but her gig. Yeah. And then at the same time be like having this conflict of like, look, I just want to do my own thing. I don't care. I think that would be really interesting for her.
And I think if a film that drops you right into just the middle of that, and then intercuts like whatever the dilemma is building off of that into how she got into that position in the first place. There's a lot of complexity there.
Because I don't want her to be like a dragon tattoo or like Furiosa from Mad Max, where it's like this really, really like I don't want to say super feminist, but like super like tough girl or anything
just
like that.
Just like a one-tone badass.
She's your classic girl. Like, I want to see a girl lead a group of women, not necessarily being like this hard ass or anything like that. I want her to be vulnerable. I want her to have imperfections. I want to see that. And like, for me, that'd be really interesting to see her play that, because I know she could play all those. I've seen her in Sucker Punch, where she plays kind of like the free spirits of the other sisters' kind of uptightness.
Right.
And then, you know, you see her in the Hunger Games being this kind of like this smart ass or whatever. She could play all those types, and I think this one would really showcase her talent. And man, you know, if I could, you know, obviously, like, I have a bunch of ideas. This would be a really cool idea. Obviously, if I could write it, awesome. If someone beats me to the punch and gives her an Oscar, awesome. I'll take credit for it.
I think that's interesting, because a lot of female roles, there's always an assumption of, oh, if you're badass, that's cool. You know, that's a step toward feminist, you know, principles. I think it would be very interesting, like you're saying, vulnerability, sexuality, things that the tropes of what you would expect a female character to be in a film, if you turn it on its head and those are the measures of strength in that character, would be really interesting, especially in a film setting in a Western, which is
because there's no
very patriarchal, manly atmosphere, to kind of turn it on its head, where a lot of the action takes place in a section of that atmosphere that you only see certain scenes in other movies. It would be really interesting.
Yeah, and like for me, like when I imagine this story, like I imagine it where it's not necessarily a man comes in and like influences the story.
Right.
It's just them, her, and the women. Like the men just come and go. Like we always
could really work as a TV show, like a Netflix series.
Yeah, because like when I like visually, I imagine like a show like Deadwood.
Yeah.
Because I'm rewatching that now, and I really like the show. But I like the idea of like there's lawlessness in the land.
Yeah.
And
how do they cope with
literally
that? What do they do?
Like you're on your own, and like a lot of these girls, let's say that they're probably like late teens, maybe even early teens, and like let's say
culturally appropriate.
Yeah, like let's say like Jenna Malone's like the one. Like amongst one of the veterans, but like a lot of the veterans are kind of just like, look, I'm a whore, I accepted it. I don't give a shit. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
And like she's not necessarily like fighting with the fact she's a whore. She's just fighting with the fact that it's like, why do I have to lead these girls? Like no one else is doing it. I have to do it.
Why is this position even there?
Yeah.
What am I serving?
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't want it to. That's why I reiterate. I don't want to kind of defeminize her and make her like a Furiosa, where where she's completely like I don't want to like offend anybody, but I don't want to make her seem kind of with man qualities.
No, or like emotionally closed off is kind of the character. I
want her to be, because 30's like young, especially in that age where if you're raising like yourself and you're making money on your own in a very selfish place like a whorehouse where you're literally individually you're making your own money.
30's young now, but back then. So
30, that's the thing. Angle. Like it'd be interesting to see like. She wants to not necessarily she wants to do things on her own. She doesn't want that burden of like being the responsible one. She's just like, look, I want to live, but at the same time, I know I have this responsibility. Yeah. I'm interested in seeing her kind of tackle that kind of character with that kind of stuff.
It's a complex character piece. It could be all about her.
I love Jenna Malone. She needs more work. But who's yours? Who's your actress?
My actress, I guess someone who's gotten a little bit more attention recently, Emily Blunt. She's gotten
badass.
She absolutely okay.
Badass.
So she has gotten attention for
abs of steel
for recently taking risks at being in action films in general. I loved her in Edge of Tomorrow. I would love to see something where we're not just seeing Tom Cruise as the vehicle for the film. We see her as the main part of the film. Because, I mean, I loved every scene she was in that film. I would love to see Emily Blunt in an action franchise holding her own in the way that Tom Cruise does, in the way that... If someone had the balls to make a Fast and Furious kind of movie where the main person is the girl in the group and is Emily Blunt, I feel like she can carry a franchise like almost no other actress right now. And I would love to see that. I think she's compelling... First of all, she's a strong actress, which is the base level to me for if it's something serious in tone, like a Bond-esque film, or if it's something with a lot of levity, like a Too Fast, Too Furious, or something like that. No. That's the base level. Is that you have to be talented, which she is. She has an element of humor to her that I think there's subtlety in the way she delivers things that you have to be willing to be a little self-deprecating in certain scenarios for an action series that I would like to see her in personally. And she can carry her own in stunts. Like she was so badass in that movie. I just was like, I was wanting so much more, and every scene that she wasn't in, was like, yeah, Tom Cruise is awesome. But like, I was like, well, what about her? What's she doing? Why
she was very intriguing. I'm glad you, because I remember watching that movie and not expecting it, and I'm like, and like, obviously, like, the first maybe half hour of that movie, you see all, like, the propaganda of her. I forget what the name of,
I'm looking it up now.
And I'm like, man, she looks really freaking cool. And I'm like, I would love to see her and stuff like that. Like, I know that, like, a lot of fans, like, comic book movie fans have been campaigning for Marvel to cast her as Captain Marvel. Like, that comes out later, which would be the first female superhero for Marvel to get its own standalone movie. And everybody's saying, like, look, she's badass, give her the role. We don't know anything about that yet.
Which would be intriguing.
Which would be intriguing, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I would like to see her, like, kind of going off what yours is, kind of like, not necessarily someone who's superhuman. I want to see somebody that's just, human.
A gritty, really good... for me, I guess it's because of the association with Tom Cruise, but I would love to see her in, like, a Mission Impossible series, or something that's grounded and realistic and has just mind-blowing effects, but like is grounded in someone in a performance that I know she can pull off.
She could pull off.
Carry the whole
and
film.
I kind of literally thought about this. I'm on a roll today. She would be great as like a Sigourney Weaver-ish type person, like from an Alien movie.
Love it. She'd be a great kind of Ripley character.
Yeah, she would be a great Ripley. Like, I know they're making a sequel to Alien with Neil Blomkamp. Say what you want about him.
Yep.
Hey, if you're looking for an actress to play somebody to go off of Sigourney Weaver, who will be in the movie,
that would be epic.
That'd be pretty cool.
If you had an incredibly well done, because I'm giving that director one more chance. He's getting one more chance.
He's getting one more chance.
If he's able to, with the kind of care that I think he's capable of doing, provide an Alien film that has 2 co-lead female characters, I'm not just trying to, hit my chest as like I'm the feminist of the group. I just think that would be so badass to see. Yeah. Just 2 developed characters like that.
And I think it goes off by what we're saying too, like what both of our characters are saying, where we want to see. It's not so much like, hey, let's put a female in the lead just to have her. No, it's not just gratuitous. No, there's stories out there that we haven't really heard. Like, and that's why we want these 2 actresses, because we like, 1, it showcase their talents, but 2, they could really do something really special with these characters.
She has a kind of charisma that she's been stealing scenes for years now as either a sidekick or as a
The Devil Wears Prada. Like, The Devil Wears Prada was the first time I saw her, and she was terrific.
So good in it. And that's a role that does not have a range to speak of. No. But she played it the best way you could possibly play that role. So I'd love to see her with something that she can sink her teeth into, that she could showcase her acting, her physical abilities as just someone who kicked ass in Edge of Tomorrow. So I want to see her in every scene of a movie. Yeah. Like, I wanted more of her, and that's something that I feel like studios should really recognize. If an audience wants something, give it to us.
And I'll close this part of our argument off with a point that you just made. If you remember last July, there were 2 big action movies that came out. One of them was Hercules starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Yep. And then there was Scarlett Johansson in Lucy. Lucy basically doubled made double of what Hercules made.
And that movie was far from perfect.
What does that tell you?
That tells you we should make a Black Widow movie, is what it tells you.
Yeah.
On that note,
her sequel, like she plays like the like where she's like the Skynet of the world.
She should have been Ultron.
Oh my god, my mind is exploding. Oh my god, that's so fucking cool.
Okay, sorry.
Her too. Age of Ultron.
That was so good. I mean, I love James Spader.
Her, Age of Adeline.
Awesome. Oh my god, she's like, we have to go at the end of her. And you're like, where are you going? Yeah. She's just going to hang out and mess with Tony Stark. Okay, sorry.
I have no strings. I am Scarlett Johansson.
So awesome.
I sound nothing like her.
We just made a better Age of Ultron.
Oh gosh. But what's the... Okay, now we're going to flip this around.
Yes.
I'm going to flip this around because you're in mid-laugh. So basically, okay, we picked our actress that we would like to see in a kind of against type or in an interesting kind of role.
Yep.
How about this now? What actor would you like to see in a certain kind of role or against type? I'm
going first because I know yours, and yours is going to blow mine out of the water. Yeah. But not to undersell mine. My pick is...
Mine will blow. You're mine.
My pick is yeah. I was like, someone please finish that sentence. My pick is, anyone who knows me knows that I have an unhealthy appreciation for this actor. That's how I'm phrasing it. Ewan McGregor. This is sort of a semi-fourth wall. Ewan, I love your work for the most part.
All right. All right.
Okay, cut. Right. Take 2. I would love to see Ewan McGregor in a seriously badass villain role.
Interesting.
Now,
okay, I'm interested.
I preface with an asterisk. I understand he was in Angels and Demons. Spoiler alert: he was the priest that was bad at the end. I get that.
No one saw that movie. It's alright. Only angels and demons saw that movie.
Yeah, it was either or thing. People in the middle didn't see
and
that
Tom
movie.
Hanks.
And Tom Hanks with his awful haircut. But in that film, he was perceived to be the good guy for so much of the film that you really didn't appreciate what he was doing unless you watched it again, which many people didn't. So, like, I take that film off the table. That's an asterisk in his career. For the rest of it, he hasn't been just like a good villain character. Like, I think he's capable of pulling off. And I've talked to you about this before. Is that Ewan was on the short list to replace Pierce Brosnan as James Bond back in 2005 or 6 or whenever it was.
Yeah, it was like around 2005.
Right around the end of the Star Wars era. So, like,
but then came Daniel Blue Eyes.
Which, in hindsight, was a wonderful decision. I don't know if he could have... I don't think Ewan McGregor could have carried that role, but... That being said, I think an interesting twist on it is I think the best Bond villains are the ones that are not physically imposing, but mentally very...
Christoph Waltz. Look at him. Yeah,
exactly. And I'm not trying to say Ewan McGregor's anywhere near Christoph Waltz. He's not. I get it. I mean, my delusional self even knows that that's not true.
Yeah.
But I think he's capable, because I've seen him play such lovable characters very convincingly, like Big Fish, and even Moulin Rouge, he was just kind of a sappy.
He's Obi-Wan.
He's Obi-Wan.
He's so
wise.
Nice.
Yeah, like he's had conversations in a lot of interviews where he said a lot of the roles he picks are based on characters being in love with something. Love is a big theme of a lot of the roles he picks, which is interesting. A lot of the times it's naive characters that are literally in love with someone.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting if he took a twist on that and found a villain that was, or a bad guy that maybe didn't know he was bad. He was just, he loved something that was just so wrong, and it was just up to whoever the protagonist is to try to fight against that. I think that would be an interesting take on just his career.
He loves death.
Yeah, whatever it is. Like, I mean...
I love this gun.
To me, the best villains are the ones who think they're doing the right thing, and they're just so twisted they don't see it anymore.
That would be cool.
I would love to see that. And to be fair, like, Renton in Trainspotting is not exactly a good guy. Like, but he's not a villain. Like, you're not watching that movie thinking, yeah, he's breaking a ton of laws, but you're not looking at him thinking, like, oh, he needs to be, avenged at the end. He needs to be taken down. Yeah, that's not the case with that character. That's a very complicated character and arguably his best role.
Yeah.
But he kind of Orson Welles, like, his best role is one of his first roles. He needs to challenge himself and take risks and don't be afraid to be the bad guy. Like, please, Ewan, be the bad guy, please. So that's my actor, and as good as that was, you have a really compelling one.
Mine is interesting because I would relate him to be our our generation's Tim Curry.
Ooh.
And my pick is Andy Serkis.
I think I love that analogy.
This is the thing. The reason I make that comparison because...
Yeah, please argue that.
For those of you who don't know who Tim Curry is...
And if you don't, stop listening to this podcast. Go watch every...
He played the clown. He played Pennywise...
You're leading with that?
No. But there's a comparison. I'm comparing because with Meg, he was also in Legend, which is an awesome visual movie.
Okay.
He plays pretty much Satan, but he's so makeup and stuff. But he also just gives the performance of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And the reason I make that comparison is because Andy Serkis, everybody knows him from motion capture and all that stuff. It's like, great. But what people miss sometimes is how great of a live action actor he actually is.
He doesn't always get the chance to show it.
Because and you could tell he's very classically trained as a theater actor first, because when you watch his expressions, when you hear his voice, like for instance, for those of you that saw Age of Ultron, he played Ulysses Klaue. He's the guy that gets his arm cut off by Ultron because he says, "Oh, you're from Stark" or whatever like that. But the thing is,
one of the most compelling scenes in the movie.
Yeah, and when you watch his scene, he's so physically compelling. Because, you hear his voice, you see how he carries himself, you see how he interacts with, he scares the crap out of the
I never knew he was that big of a person physically. I never knew he was that imposing. Because he's always played such complex, diminutive
he's
characters.
always kind of, shrunk down. He's Gollum, and then, obviously Caesar from Planet of the Apes.
Caesar, he should have... they should have made a category for Caesar and for Scarlett Johansson and her. I feel like those performances where you're off-screen...
Yeah.
They need to be recognized.
It's coming. But, my role that I would like to see him in would be live action.
Okay.
And the reason I make the comparison to Tim Curry is because I would love to see Andy Serkis Rocky Horrored up
Oh my
like
God.
being like this really flamboyant and like this dude that just captures the room with his just charisma.
Holy cow.
Being like this like sexual animal.
Now, in a direct remake or in something similar to?
Something similar to it. I would not mind a remake, to be honest with you.
That is treading on careful, dangerous.
That's not actually, believe it or
waters.
not. I'll say this not because one, that film, as classic as it is
Careful.
not a great movie.
Careful, but that's why it's so good.
I'm not. Yeah, but the thing is, like, this is the thing. It's campy and great. I'm not saying make a Hollywood remake. I'm casting Andy Serkis as the lead. Hollywood would never do that.
True.
The reason I would want him in a role like that because I know physically he'll bring it, visually he'll bring it. If you watch him, you could watch him in having minor roles in The Prestige in live action.
Yeah.
And when you hear his voice, the way he reacts with his eyes, for me, you judge an actor by what you see during his performance through his eyes, through his or her eyes, and you watch. For me, like one of the performances that always to me goes underrated is Heath Ledger in Lords of Dogtown. He's by far the only reason I really watched that movie because you're just like kind of like glued to this character who's like so strange and he has glasses on all the time. You can't see his eyes, but he acts through that.
Yeah.
You can see it through his physical actions.
There's exaggeration in certain performances that need to be there.
Yeah.
That's my only concern with Serkis, and he hasn't done this in any of his live action stuff, but I feel like when you're in a major role, I feel like, not that he would do this, but there are moments in his other performances he has to overact. Yeah. He is a stage actor, like you said. Having that training, it works for certain roles he does as minor characters. Do you see, not that I do, but do you see a problem, potentially, with the argument of him overacting? Because that's something he always does. Because he's a character actor.
He's a character
actor.
Yeah, he's a character actor, but he doesn't overact. He's one of those guys where he understands acting so well. Like motion capture work is so hard because when you have all those I guess dots, all those sensors on your face, you have to be very specific in how you use them.
He has to be very deliberate and almost has to overemphasize moments like that.
And like this is the thing, like when I was in college, I was training to be a theater actor, and one of the classes we had to take was acting with masks.
I would love to take that class.
And this is the thing, like, any person that's training to be an actor, take a class acting with a mask. Yeah. Because you watch any horror movie now, anybody that acts with a mask is stupid. They always have the head tilt when they're like, hey, I see you.
It's the Halloween movie.
Yeah, it's just like,
I've got.
No, like, this is the thing, like, when you act with a mask, it forces you to take away everything that you use with your face. Yeah. So it's like, how do you project being able to be angry or to be like sad with just your shoulders, your arms, your back? Like we with the episode that we talked about, the Southpaw review. Yeah. When you capture somebody's, for instance, like in The Wrestler, when the opening shot, when you see Mickey Rourke's character with the shot of his back, just sitting there, just like literally just sitting there, says more to me than him talking to the camera. Yeah. And I feel like Andy Serkis is one of the best in the business. Because he understands that. He's never overacted in my eyes. Live action wise, you watch a movie like King Kong, he plays the kitchen guy in the ship, and he's not overbearing. He plays that role perfectly.
No, he really does. And I'm not saying that he overacts. I'm just saying that what he does so well in small doses. Would that work against him in a major role?
No,
I don't think it would. But
I don't think it would because
I feel like that's what people are afraid of.
He's smart enough to understand character arc. When you watch Age of Ultron, look at Aaron Taylor Johnson. Doesn't have a lot of lines, but obviously is totally lost. Ulysses Claw, Andy Serkis, has a little bit of lines. He understands, as an actor, you have to create that purpose for yourself.
Even if it's one scene, there's an arc.
Yeah,
there has to be
an arc, and you see that. You see that when the way he talks to them. Basically saying like, look, I'm afraid of this kind of fish. He's like, if you're gonna come at me and with visions of this fish, I know you're not the boss. Yeah. I only talk to the man in charge. You already know, like, hey, we have no idea who this guy is, but you could tell this guy is the guy in charge of whatever's going on here. Yeah. And we don't get that from him telling us that. So for me, I think him in a role like this, where he's just completely 100% exuberant, all this stuff is out there. And I would relate him and Hugh Jackman are very similar physically, like actor-wise. They know how to use every muscle in their body they use for their performance. So imagine, like I always say, like like for instance, like what's coming up with Hugh Jackman and Pan.
I was about to say he would have been good in that.
Yeah, like Hugh Jackman when he gets theatered out,
yeah.
I'm excited because that's his forte. Andy Serkis theatered out as like a dude that's like Rocky Horror-ish. Holy crap! Like that would be probably like I would have fun with that because you watch a guy like Tim Curry in that role like years ago, and just from the way the guy acts with his lips, you're just like, my God, man! Like that's freaking amazing, dude. I would love to see him just lead a film like that, where just a bunch of weird, sexualized dude. It's like the complete opposite of what I had for Jenna Malone. It's like someone who just she uses her sexuality as to get money. This guy uses his sexuality because that's the way he is. He's just like it's like who wants to. Dude,
it's a personality trait, the way that like breathing would be for him. Like it's just second nature.
That guy just loves to perform, and you could tell that he loves that. And I would love to see him in that. That's my pick.
That would be fantastic. I think it would be an interesting. I feel like the over the top theatrical role, regardless of if it's sexualized or not, I think would just be he would feast on it.
I just love it because like fantastic. You don't like a lot of like one. I love that Rocky Horror performance from Tim Curry.
It's fantastic
because. It exists within the movie. It's not just like this thing where like you see like it doesn't matter if he's gay or if he's bi or if he's transsexual.
You buy into whatever is going on.
It's like, you know what, man, this guy is freaking cool, man. I'm like, I don't care.
I will enter this house of craziness because I want to go with him wherever he's going.
And if Andy Serkis was in that role, even at his age now, look at the shape he's in. He's in amazing shape. Yeah, I would love to see him in that role.
Yeah, I was gonna say he might have been. He's obviously considered older than Tim Curry was when he filmed that, but it could still work.
It would work.
It would still work.
Yeah, I don't want to see Zac Efron do that.
Oh no, no. He could sing, but that's about it.
All right, but next order in our fantasy film draft. Yeah, I was trying to remember the title for it. So, our fantasy film draft. Okay. So we've picked our actors to be in a certain kind of role. My question to you, and I pose this question for both of us. All right. If you could choose any director to join a franchise, any franchise, what director would it be, and what franchise would you have him or her join, and hopefully maybe fix or continue the tradition?
Okay, so I had 2 picks. So you might have to help me pick it because I'm going to put them both on the table. Okay. I also have to preface that these picks are also sort of contingent upon my belief that one or several DC movies might not be as successful as...
So you're going comic book.
Yeah, okay. I am actually.
Interesting.
Because I think those are the franchises that have the most potential, and I feel like the Bonds of the world, the Mission Impossibles of the world, they're in good hands. Whether or not those people are on the films every time, I feel like those studios are doing what they need to do to keep them going properly. Yeah. I feel like the comic book movies are the ones that are... We're doing really well, but we need to step up our game.
Yeah, and DC is doing that.
And DC is doing it, which is why I think that if I were in control of DC, they already are taking the creative freedom to make these decisions. So this is the direction I would have gone with 2 specific films. Okay. If I were to have control of the Superman franchise, I would not have picked Zack Snyder. Okay. If this person's schedule were cleared...
Let's say the next Superman movie. It doesn't have to be the remake. Let's just say like the next Superman movie. Who would direct that one?
Good, because his schedule might be opened up, and Zack Snyder's schedule might be opened up. Sam Mendes.
Interesting.
For Superman. Yeah. And I say this because the way the Bond franchises were... Yeah. Not that they weren't dead in the water, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But if you think about... I hated Quantum of Solace, first of all. Yeah. Casino Royale was fun, but if you watch Casino Royale now, it feels like the Pierce Brosnan ones. It's a very 90s action flick, which is fun. Yeah. But
Pierce Brosnan doesn't run through a wall. I just want to say that. All right, keep going.
Yes, fine. He doesn't stay them one wall. So there's a difference. But in terms of the practical effects and stuff, which I appreciated, it felt very 90s. Yeah. Mendes came in Quantum of Solace. I don't talk about. I did not like that movie. Terrible. It's not great, and I don't appreciate it. And the villain wasn't used properly, and that actor's really good. But when Sam Mendes comes into the Bond franchise and spices it up with an air of what is the word? There's an air of gravity to the film. There's a weight to both of. I'm assuming Spectre at some point, but to the first film he does, Skyfall. There's just something to it that it's like he legitimizes a franchise, and it's and if you I know he's done American Beauty and people love that film, but I look at like Road to Perdition, I look at films he's done in the past, even Revolutionary Road. I didn't like the film, but I liked what he did in it. To see him take Zack Snyder has made Superman serious, and I'm doing huge air quotes, by the way. He's made Superman serious. Sam Mendes wouldn't just do that. He would make it real, and he would give you a reason for why there might be serious moments in the series.
Okay.
I don't think I think Sam Mendes could legitimize and could have done for Man of Steel what I think Zack Snyder thought he did with Man of Steel, and didn't quite do to the extent that I think Sam Mendes could have done.
My one question to you is, and I know you kind of broke it down a little bit here, but what would Sam Mendes bring to this, like, to the Superman character that would make him, I don't want to say more relatable, but what would he do to that would be vastly, that you would consider vastly improved? And I know you're gonna say, like, regardless of what Zack Snyder did in his last film.
I won't even talk about Zack Snyder.
All right.
I think what Sam Mendes does with all of his films, and it could be mostly the hand of the writer he works with, the hand of the cinematographer. Obviously, it's a team effort, but I give him the majority of the credit. Is that every film he does, however big or however small, there is character development. Yeah. There is something that grounds the film. If it's in Road to Perdition, it's between the father and the son. If it's in Revolutionary Road, it's the fracture between the couple.
Where would you see him take the character, though? Just assuming. Like, let's say you're the studio and you're like, Sam Mendes is great, and then Sam Mendes is like, yeah, but, like, what would you see him do?
I'm not going to Krypton. I don't need to go to Krypton. Why do I need to go to Krypton?
No. I'm saying, like, not as a Man of Steel remake. Let's say, like you're taking over for the Superman franchise from here on in. Henry Cavill's your actor. What would he bring?
I would argue that I'm not sure that would have happened if he had. I know, but we have to stick with Cavill now because he picked him. I think there are complexities in where the Superman series goes that I think Sam Mendes can handle. I am not, like, the connoisseur of comic book storylines, but I feel like, for me, Superman on its base is just that he's like the perfect superhero, because other than kryptonite, he has no discernible weaknesses. Yeah. And I think the dichotomy between him and the alter ego he plays, I think that he would play that up in a way that would work so much better and be much more complex than just other directors.
I'm glad you said that, because I think and I kind of agree with you. Like, from that point alone, from that, if Sam Mendes made a Superman movie, he would play Superman so where instead of Clark Kent always looking at his Superman uniform contemplating stuff, I think he would have Superman look at his Clark Kent outfit and be like,
what can I do as that person that could be more
not only
powerful?
That, but, like, it's like, am I being who I'm supposed to be? If that makes sense. I can make an impact as this person. Do I need to be this person? Or do I belong as, should I be human? Why do I have to be both? Why can't I just be Kryptonian and be, like, me all the time? Or do I have to be Clark Kent?
And that's not to go back to Road to Perdition again, but I'm just excited I get to talk about Road to Perdition. Yeah. Is that Tom Hanks' character deals with something like that in the film, and that's based, if I'm thinking correctly, that's based off of a graphic novel. So it's like he's done work like this before. Tom Hanks' character in Road to Perdition is struggling with being the family man and being the hitman that he is in his day job. Yeah. And he's successful in his career, but he's neglecting his family at home. He's not. Yeah. He's kind of the aloof father in that position, and the whole film is him kind of becoming the father he needs to be, but in a much more complicated way than I just described. Yeah. Like, he's not a great father throughout the movie. To see Tom Hanks do that, first of all, is a cool stretch for him. Yeah. But I think that would be something he would do, is that as a Superman character, to see what his internal struggle could be, that relationship that I've been saying Mendes is really good at. Is it's not just Superman in a conflict with a bad guy. It's Superman in conflict with himself, and it's not just the angel and devil on his shoulder like it was in the first Man of Steel, where it's, Russell Crowe and then there's Kevin Costner telling him conflicting things. I think there'd be a much more complex, subtle way that Sam Mendes would accomplish that. Okay. So,
and who's your number two?
My other one.
Your tie.
My other one is, if I could rewind the clock and And I'm not saying this as Suicide Squad's not going to be successful. I think it's going to be a very good movie.
I wanted to say, this has to be a continuation. Like, you can't redo movies.
No. This is a fully hypothetical.
Okay.
But fine, if we're going to say that the Suicide Squad's going to have another film afterward, we can say yes, possibly.
Let's go there.
Paul Thomas Anderson would have been awesome for something in Suicide Squad.
What?
Hear me out.
What?
Hear me out. Okay.
Oh gosh, I need to hear this.
So, his best films are when they are ensemble cast pieces.
Yeah.
Boogie Nights is arguably one of the best movies of the last 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
That movie is not a movie about the porn industry. That movie is about a family that just happens to have day jobs in the porn industry. That movie is, if you watch that movie, and even just the first tracking shot, that movie is all about the relationships with these people. And they're all imperfect. No one's really a particularly good guy.
Yeah.
I would love to see what he does with a band of people like the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
The tone may or may not appeal to most people, and I don't care. Because I personally didn't like Inherent Vice, but I appreciate what he tried to do. I would love to see him do a Suicide Squad movie.
This is where I'll disagree.
DC will never do it.
No, I'm not saying I disagree. I don't think DC will never do it. Mm-hmm. I think they'll totally approach something like it because they're not afraid. Mm-hmm. They're not afraid of being told no. I will say the reason it wouldn't work was because it would be like more of a 12 Angry Men movie, which is a fascinating movie, but not for a Suicide Squad movie.
I don't think so. I don't think it would just be 12 Angry Men. Yes, it's an ensemble piece. There's a lot of drama in what's going on. But I don't think he would shy away from what the comic books would demand him to do. I don't think it would just be philosophical discussions or things like that.
No, not at all. I don't think it's. And look, I've read interviews. He's read comic books. He knows the stuff. The thing is, I just don't think his style would lend itself to the Suicide Squad, because the Suicide Squad itself, at the end of the day, are sent out on these missions to complete missions. Mm-hmm. And believe me, I think Paul Thomas Anderson could do whatever, but I just don't think for what he cares about, which is 100% character development, I feel like Suicide Squad, yeah, you have fun, interesting characters, but I don't think he's the guy to bring those kinds of characters together.
I'm only compelled by Suicide Squad because of the characters. I could give two shits, excuse my language, about the missions they go on.
No, I'm not saying it's about the missions. I'm saying their purpose is just to go out on the mission.
I get that, but the gravity of those missions should be about what their characters are. And I understand that, like, I get there's a lot of just the do it or we kill you kind of aspect to it, which in and of itself is interesting, if only just a single consequence. Yeah. But I am just really compelled by the fact that he can bring characters together. And think, Magnolia, that film, a lot of these characters are not coexisting on screen together. They're doing their own thing. They're doing completely random things if you look at it in the context of an overall film. Mm-hmm. But it works together as sort of like an opus. Like, it's so good.
He's, like, this is the thing. I understand that he was able to work with a lot of characters and make a really compelling story. Mm-hmm. But maybe because we just haven't seen anything like that from him, it's hard for me picturing him handling something like that.
I think that's why it would be awesome. Because I can't see it either, but I would love to see it. And I think, and maybe it's because I'm so excited about him writing a Pinocchio movie. That sounds even more absurd than him taking Suicide Squad. You might rather see that. But it's much. I mean, what is the likelihood of him saying, "I'm going to do a Pinocchio movie"? Like, I understand it's not a Disney film because Pinocchio as a property is a much older story. But to take on something that has been in the American canon for 75 years and be like, "I'm going to do my own thing," and Robert Downey Jr. is going to be a part of it, like, that's really ballsy. And that doesn't make any sense to anyone except the two of those people who decided to do it. I think that it's insulting to the audience to assume that they wouldn't want to see something like that, because it would be much more complicated. I'm not saying that
the audience wouldn't want to see it. I just don't. I personally, if I was a studio, I'd be like, man,
it totally wouldn't make enough money. But I'd love to see it.
I'm like, you know what? Like, I'd be interested in seeing it, yeah. But I'm like, man, that's a big risk, because you have no idea if he could make. I'm not saying he can't make it. I'm just saying I don't know what kind of film it would be, because That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I'm not gonna try to go into it. I don't know.
And
I really don't know.
That is so compelling to me because if I don't know what it's going to be and I trust almost everything that director has done otherwise, have at it. Like if I'm obviously not getting paid to be a director because I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
He does. So just because I don't know how it would turn out doesn't mean that he wouldn't kill it.
I would. Like the thing, I'd be. I don't know. It's really hard because based off the films that he's done, I'm like, man, Suicide Squad is very. I don't know. I can't see it personally. I cannot see it.
I just don't. I feel like Christopher Nolan's Batmans were not perceived. I don't think anyone saw those coming. I don't think.
No, I agree. No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
That's such a different take on Batman that I feel like the Dark Knight rule was that they expanded the Oscar Best Picture nominees because that one got left out when it should not have.
Yeah.
A PTA Suicide Squad movie could get nominated for Best Picture.
I would say just to kind of like piggyback off you, if I were interested in seeing a PTA-led comic book movie, I think it would be the one that I'd be most interested in is probably a story called Old Man Logan. It's a Wolverine story where Old Man, like he's literally Wolverine's on like is so old, but since he still has his regenerative power, he still can't die.
Was that what Hugh Jackman was hinting at?
That's what he's hinting at, but like we don't know that yet. But I would be interested in seeing that because I've seen, based off There Will Be Blood, where a guy is just mentally just on his own. He does not give a crap about people. And I'd be interested in seeing how he could take some of those values and apply them to somebody like Wolverine, who could pretty much relate to that. Yeah. Where he does, the only difference between him and Daniel Plainview is that he doesn't care about succeeding.
I was going to say, Daniel Plainview is pretty ruthless about that.
Yeah, he's pretty ruthless, but like I would relate Wolverine's character to his because I see that kind of that interesting connection of just I don't care about people. Yeah. And I would love to see that kind of expanded. But that's just me. But like yeah, I would say if I were based off those two, I'm much more interested in Sam Mendes take on Superman than I am a PTA taking on Suicide Squad.
I think Sam Mendes would be a much more likely option as a studio to pick. But let us know if you agree or disagree. I just think Paul Thomas Anderson in doing an ensemble piece is at his best.
I would say if there was a director that I would have picked to join a franchise, and I heard this on another podcast, but I wanted to try to choose something different, but it was so compellingly great,
intriguing.
All right, Quentin Tarantino. Okay. Directing a Star Wars bounty hunter movie.
Oh my god, that would be so awesome.
Imagine.
But the stipulation is that Disney has to let him pick his own music. Because it won't work if he doesn't get to pick his own music.
No, what if I think he could convince John Williams to do this. It's like, can you imagine him convincing John Williams to write a Western score with... Dude, that'd be amazing. Like, think about this. Like, I don't even have to make this argument, to be honest with you. Imagine a Western-style movie. Like, something similar to... Like, imagine like Inglourious Bastards with Boba Fett and the other bounty hunters.
The first rated R Star Wars film.
Dude, like, that would blow my mind. It would literally...
That would be insane.
It would be probably like visually the most amazing, like most amazing Western that I've ever seen. It'd be the most clever Western I've ever seen because it's set in space. My god,
he would pick so many different. He could do like, all right, we don't know who Boba Fett is, right? That is like the big thing. Is like we don't know who he is. Yeah. How do you do an origin story of someone that you don't really know who it is? Like you know his dad, but you don't really know who this guy is. Yeah. He would probably just be like, all right, I'm gonna write a script that has 4 different storylines going on. You have to decide which one's Boba Fett, and then there's gonna be arguments galore. Like that would be insane.
My movie would not be actually an origin story of Boba Fett. It would just be here's a group of these bounty hunters that literally like let's say like they all live on the same planet. Let's say they live on Tatooine, like this desert planet, and they're just hanging out. Perfect. They all hang out at the same bar, and they literally just go contract to contract. Then all of a sudden, this one mega contract comes up, and they're all selected at the same time, like they were in episode 3. Oh no, episode 4. Yep. So A New Hope, where they all come in and they're like, "Hey, first one to get this dude gets the cash box, you know, whatever." And it's kind of like a Tarantino thing where they all look at the suitcase. We don't see what's in the suitcase, and then they're all like, "Oh, I need what's in that suitcase." And then all of a sudden, their little friendships and whatnot become like, I'm going to get
rivalries.
To this guy. It becomes rivalries. And imagine them just taking each other out to get to that last to accomplish to get the bounty.
And
to
the
get
winner
the bounty.
ends up being Boba Fett because he's still alive at the end.
Oh my gosh.
But okay, another thing. What if there was a little bit of an origin story snuck in, because every time you're seeing, like, they're obviously split up and trying to handle getting to whatever this bounty is.
Yeah.
What if because I think Tarantino does a really good job with, like, random cutaways to, like, random stuff sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I think if you were to do, like, interesting backstory subplots that could work in favor of whatever's going on in the plot, but whatever he does, whatever the cut back is to a different character, so you're not sure who the person is. Yeah. So each time, all four of them look similar, or whatever, if they're masked, whatever the case may be, but every time they do an origin story, a scene, it just cuts to character B, character C, character A, so you don't know who it is the whole time. We just made the Boba Fett movie.
Dude, I would just rather see them just move forward in the future.
Disney wants an origin story, so
I'm just saying, but let's say this: Disney just approaches them, saying, "Hey, what do you want to do, Tarantino?" It's like, "I want to make this." So if I'm Disney, I'm letting him do what he wants. I don't care about origins. I'm like, you know what? Let's just move forward.
No, you have to respect the Star Wars franchises enough to if there's
if
there's a demand for an origin story, you have to give it to them.
No, but I'm picking the damn movie, man. I'm not.
You picked too big a canon not to have people demand stuff of you.
No, this is the thing. This is where they're gonna go different. I think, like, for an anthology movie, that is kind of going with the canon, saying, hey, there was that one mission where they're like, you guys are in charge of finding the Millennium Falcon. Mm-hmm. And it's like, all right, let's find that backstory where they were fighting to get to the Millennium Falcon. We know what happened. They don't get him, obviously.
Right.
Eventually they get him. Obviously, Boba Fett eventually gets him and takes him to Jabba the Hutt.
Right.
I want to see the battle where all of them... Because you only see Boba Fett make it at the end. I want to see what happened when Boba Fett takes out every single one.
It's a parallel to 4, is what you're saying?
Between 4 and 5. Between that and Empire Strikes Back. Where, like... Because when you see Empire Strikes Back... You see him where it's only Boba Fett with Darth Vader. It's like,
right, it jumps to that, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to see, alright, what happened?
He's such a disingenuous, like, burp, he's dead. Like, you're like, what? He's such a good character.
Well, that was in episode 6.
I know, but I wanted him in, like, almost every scene of every movie.
But
like,
imagine
but
imagine having an anthology story of, like, alright, from episode 4, where Darth Vader gathers them all and saying, hey, I need you guys to find the Millennium Falcon. And then from there on in saying, here's this little rat race of these dudes going at each other's neck just to get that one bounty. Obviously, Boba Fett gets it at the end, but I would love to see him be like the one dude that's just so badass, the John Wick of them all, and just takes them out individually and is like, I get the bounty, bitches.
No, John Wick is the Boba Fett of them all. Calm down.
No, but you know what I mean. I think that would make an amazing anthology movie, and imagine Tarantino doing a bounty hunter movie.
I would love to see him write just a little bit of an origin story.
I know, we don't need it. He's a mysterious guy, we don't need it.
But Tarantino does stuff we don't need all the time, and he does it so well. Like, he puts scenes that are like 8 minutes long. Does that need to be there? No, but it's so good. I don't want to...
Yeah, but I don't care.
I don't want to take Tarantino's writing abilities and be like, just make this. I'd be like, please put your touch on an origin story. I would love to see that.
I would rather have it, like, let's say if I were Tarantino and I were writing that movie, I would write it from the perspective of the other bounty hunters being so scared shitless of Boba Fett because of the reputation he has. So we're not seeing it through Boba Fett's eyes, we're seeing it through their eyes. So we're like, alright, I'm getting to this. Oh shit. Wait, I'm being targeted on. Oh shit, it's Boba Fett. Bam, you're dead.
That could be good too.
And then there's like a showdown scene where they're like in the middle of this town, Boba Fett just sitting there, standing there, right there, Clint Eastwood style, pulls over his cape, gets his freaking gun, and kills everybody. I would love to see that, where they get Mexican standoff kind of a thing.
Yes.
You could see that, and I think that would be amazing.
I think that's a wonderful, that's definitely a solid third act. I just feel like the mystery of we don't know who it is could be played up so much.
But who cares?
What do you mean, who cares?
I don't care.
It's Boba Fett. Like, no one knows who he is.
We don't need to know. He's Jango Fett's son. There you go.
Yes, okay. But
I don't need to. This is the thing. He's such a cool character. I don't need to know about him.
I'm not saying we. That's the thing, is at the end of the movie, you might not necessarily know who the backstory was about. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I don't need to do like a whole like Kaiser Soze kind of thing. I don't need that.
Kaiser Soze doesn't have a whole backstory to this child.
Yeah, everybody kind of just like, oh man, it's Kaiser Soze.
Are you shitting on Usual Suspects right now?
I'm not shitting on that, but I don't need that kind of a movie for Boba Fett. Everybody knows Boba Fett's rep. I'd rather just like let's continue that.
But that's what I'm. You just said everybody knows it, so why do you just do it? Why do you just continue
Why do you need to do an origin story?
Because it's different than just continuing
I don't
it.
need to
This
fill
is
in the
good.
blanks.
I like this.
I don't need to fill in the blanks.
This is the most contentious argument we've had in a while.
I disagree. I
like this.
I'm the one funding this movie.
I'm just saying. Don't hold Tarantino back by just making a movie a bunch of people shooting each other. Do more than that.
Did you not see Django?
There's more than just shooting each other.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's 3 hours long. Did you not see the movie?
Yeah. I didn't like it. Yeah, I said it.
I know. Inglourious, I think, is
much better.
Much better.
I think that would be the kind of movie I would see.
Okay.
Minus the origin story.
I feel like you're just shitting on
All
the
right.
origin story.
I know you were kind of hinting at this because you wanted to remake everything according to DC stuff.
Which is not any of the ones I
Our last question that we're gonna pose is...
Who's going first on this, by the way?
You're gonna go first.
Oh, okay.
I totally want to see you go first.
Alright.
Alright, so if you could remake any movie made throughout history, any movie, you could make it good or bad, what movie would it be?
Okay. I went with my first reaction to this question, so I'm sure there are movies that I would I wouldn't want to remake movies I really liked. So I want to pick a movie that I wanted to like so much because I had such an appreciation for the director until he made this movie.
God.
Paul
Thomas Anderson's Suicide Squad.
No. I wanted to remake The Village.
Okay.
Because I liked
M. Night Shyamalan.
I liked M. Night Shyamalan. I loved The Sixth Sense. If you look at that movie in a vacuum, it's still a very, very good movie.
I have not seen it.
Okay. We'll have to watch that. That could be a retro reel because it's at least 10 years old. We both say Unbreakable is a very good movie. That's a solid movie, carries a lot of really interesting themes, and it's a comic book movie before comic book movies were really big in this country.
Yeah.
Signs was entertaining, flawed but entertaining. This was the first film that kind of wet the bed in his canon of movies.
It was the beginning of his downfall.
It was the beginning of the end. And
okay.
I remember there were features and things about this movie that, on Sci-Fi, that were hinting at just how creepy and how good it was. And there are moments in this movie that are fantastic. The drama of certain scenes are so good.
Yeah.
But it's 12% of the movie. And the rest of it is just really bad turn-of-the-century dialogue where there's no... they don't say you're, it's you are. There's nothing, it's just forced dialogue that halfway through the movie I'm this isn't happening in this time period. Spoiler alert! I was ugh. You could feel where it was going within 35 minutes of the movie, and there's just so much to that movie that could have been so much more developed. And I even had an argument with my husband about, the last 15 minutes of the movie, I think, were cut all out of order.
Yeah.
And I feel one of the last shots of the movie could have been a shot of Adrian Brody instead of it being the reveal and then they go out. That editing sequence could have been so much more compelling.
Yeah.
And watching it over and over now, I'm oh my god, I could have just made this movie so much better. So that's the movie. At first reaction, I was The Village, because it doesn't deserve to be the movie it is. So
I feel bad for M. Night. Just I wanted to say that because I like a lot of his early work. I love Signs. You say I hate the ending, obviously.
Right.
But that sign, the entire movie was so well done.
It's fun. It's a
Unbreakable,
fun, scary movie.
well done, except the ending. Everything before that was amazing too. It's too bad that he kind of fallen off. Hopefully, he gets
we'll see.
Maybe maybe gets struck by lightning. All of a sudden, it comes back. Because he's a good storyteller. I believe that.
He just gets in his own way. What's your film?
My film, and I'll preface this by saying, obviously, I'm a big horror movie fan.
Ooh, and horror.
And one of the things I love about horror movies is that you could also be could be funny. You could be kind of comical. Those are my favorites. Those are cool. You could think about all the movies that are kind of campy, and you're yeah, that's freaking fun, but it's also kind of creepy at sometimes.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot I'll
basically
say this.
You want Sam Raimi's career is what you're saying.
Besides
Spider-Man 3.
I would love. That's another movie I would love to remake. If you give me a Spider-Man movie, I'll only do one.
You mean Amazing Spider-Man 2 is essentially what they just did.
Amazing Spider-Man garbage. That's what it was. But look, this is what I'll say.
Villains.
I'll say this. There's a lot of interesting topics that I find, really cool, supernatural stuff. But at the end of the day, I just like fun horror movies. And I think the movie that I would love...
is killing me.
The movie I would love to remake is Ghostbusters.
What?
Yes. And
I don't know if you heard. They are.
No. That's the thing. I don't care if they are. No, believe me. They're having, right now, rumors are the studio obviously is already making one led by Kristen Wiig and, the bunch from Saturday Night Live, directed by Paul Feig. And then they're also planning to do a male-centered one with Chris Pratt, Channing Tatum, and some other guys that's still in development at Sony. But this is the thing, I want to remake it because
This is in a vacuum, assuming that those things don't exist.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing. Like
control.
if I could remake Ghostbusters, the way I would do it would be kind of, instead of doing this like ridiculous gender battle of girl versus a guy team and whatnot, I would just have it be whatever. Like I could pick whatever actors I wanted for
one
it.
or two of each.
The way I would like to do it would be in the same kind of comedic style, because I think if you try to duplicate like what they did with Bill Murray and all that stuff,
you can't be Bill Murray.
No, you cannot be Bill Murray. You can't do what they did. The way I would remake it, and it's funny that you said Sam Raimi, because I would love to do it in the same type of tone of Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2, where
oh my god, that would be so
like
funny.
Imagine like, let's say like, whether it be
putting that in like a New York City setting would
wouldn't
be
that be
hysterical.
Cool? Because think about it, what made Ghostbusters so awesome, like you said, was the fact that you have a haunted ghost story in a city like New York that isn't scared.
They're skeptical of everything.
They're skeptical of everything, and they didn't play on that enough.
They did.
And I would love to play on that. Imagine a taxi driver seeing a ghost behind there, turns around and he's like, you know what? That's not the weirdest thing I've seen tonight.
Yeah.
You're
the third weirdest fare.
I would love. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I would love to see that kind of a story where you have like an Ash type character be the lead instead of trying to reduplicate Bill Murray. It's like, let's have like a Bruce Campbell kind of lead.
Yeah. So you're okay with it not being an ensemble necessarily, or it could be, but
one
is like the point person.
Yeah, like Chris Pratt is, in my opinion, it could be a Bruce Campbell kind of guy, and I would love to see that. I would like for me, if I were to have like a dream cast, it would be Chris Pratt.
Okay.
I would have Michael Pena in it, especially after seeing Ant-Man.
Michael Pena would be so good.
Like, he would be terrific. I would love to see somebody like, let me see here, like,
especially if he's like the against type, like badass, as opposed to like, because in Ant-Man he was like sort of afraid all the time.
Yeah.
He ended up being, a good sidekick character, but I feel like just a zoom up of him like shooting something, like using the whatever it is, and just zooming up to him and being like super intense would be hysterical.
Yeah, like, I would love to see them, and like, I just like imagine, like, I'm trying to think of other actors, but I'm just like, imagine having like the Ash type character where he's like, shop smart, S smart, like,
that show looks fantastic.
That like, it looks like, I would love to see a film like that take place. It would still be in New York City.
Yep.
Like, I would love, like obviously if I were remaking it or whatever, I would do it. But if I could also pick a director, I would love to have Sam Raimi take that over. Yeah. Like, that would be such a, like, the most smart-assy movie.
He still got it, because Drag Me to Hell was fantastic.
Drag Me to Hell was awesome. I would love to see him go back to horror, but if I could, like, duplicate myself into Sam Raimi's like mind and be like, look, we're making this movie Evil Dead Army of Darkness style.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt's gonna be our Ash character. Gonna have Michael Pena in the movie, and we'll have like, like, screw it, I'll put Jonah Hill as one of the guys in there too. And no, how about this for like a wrench in there? Like, have like somebody, I know it's gonna be like really freaking weird, but I want to have like Brad Pitt be like a kind of like a caricature of himself. Not be like the sexy dude, but just be like completely like, imagine like somebody, like imagine Scott Pilgrim versus the World, like the Chris Evans character.
I was just thinking that, because like in World War Z he basically is that, but he's doing it seriously. He's like wearing scarves and speaks multiple languages, but he's just a dad. Like, that's so stupid.
I would love to see him take on that kind of a comedic role where he's just like, look, man, I don't know if we could go in there. Dude, why are you talking like that? I'm just doing the voiceover for my tape in case we die. Like, I would love to see Brad Pitt do like, and like, I think he's at a point in his career where he's secure enough where he's like, I'm gonna do something like that. He could take a chance like that. And like, obviously with Sam Raimi, the monsters are gonna look awesome. They're gonna look so awesome. A lot of practical effects, a lot of. I would love, and that's why I would like to remake Ghostbusters, because I know that it's the tradition of keeping it with the Saturday Night Live cast with the ladies and whatnot,
which is fine. And I still think that's gonna be a good movie, but
it's gonna be fun. Could be fun too. But this one would be so awesome.
Could you make it without it essentially being a Ghostbusters movie? Because like, the problem is, it's like, oh, it's ghosts, so you can't really like make a cool, fun movie about like killing ghosts without making it feel like it's Ghostbusters anyway. But I feel like it could be a fun standalone movie.
I like the possibility of the ghosts interacting with New Yorkers, because like you said it, like, they're very cynical of everything. They're just like, look, dude,
it wouldn't even faze them, and that would be fantastic. It would not even faze them. I'm
like, dude, I'm really high right now, man. Like I don't know why you're a green slime person, but like, you know what, man, you rock, dude. Like, and then like, obviously, like the kind of guys that would take this on are like these like the collection of Hollywood's greatest smartasses.
Oh yeah.
Like, maybe a while ago I would have liked to seen Donnie Jr. do it, but like like I would like imagine Chris Pratt and like the dynamic of Michael Pena
Payne
and
is
like
good.
Jonah Hill, and then randomly Brad Pitt just being
what is
like
happening? Which would be a Moneyball like.
Yeah, it just be like the douchiest like character where you're not like Burn After Reading, but like just like this douchebag character. He's just like so into his hotness, where it's just like, dude, why are you even here?
Yeah, because he has to mean well too. Like,
I funded the operation. Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, you did.
You're the fundraiser, aren't you? And then like Chris Pratt's just like the Ash character, where he's just like this just total like just like this
just a stupid one-liner.
Where he puts on an ad. He's like this ad. He's like, I'm such a badass. Yeah. And then you have like I would just love to see
that
them
work on his eyebrows. Yeah.
Like that would be so freaking cool. But that's the movie,
I love it.
the Dream remake that I would love to see as a horror movie fan and as a Ghostbusters fan. That would be such a fun movie.
So when we break into the scene, we're gonna do really good thrillers and really good, like, fun, hilarious, scary movies.
Oh gosh,
I love it.
But this was fun, man. This was freaking fun.
Yeah, if you guys like this, let us know. We'd love to do another fantasy.
Dude, we're actually gonna finish within an hour.
Oh my god,
30.
Oh, okay.
29.
I don't know what else to say. For JP, Leigh, and Adrian, we'll see you when the credits roll.
Random noise.
It wasn't random. That was
oh gosh.
chewy.